Good morning and welcome to this week in Phenomenal-ness. So I hope you all had a fantastic week. Let's just take this moment to center ourselves and open our hearts up to all the gifts that the universe has to bring to us over this next week and get prepared for, just welcoming that in. So if you can close your eyes and you can place your attention on something that you truly love and just kind of use your the energy and focus energy between your two eyebrows. It's called your tisratil or your third eye. And, just really allow yourself to like feel that energy and that love kind of circulating in the body. Take a deep breath in. Close your eyes. And just exhale that breath, and as you exhale that breath, know that you're exhaling all that love out into the universe as you send every atom of yourself out to, really set the tone for you this week as we move into the next week. All right, so, wow, last week, goal setting on a deeper level, so we were drilling down, and we were also looking at the whole idea of intercepting the self-sabotage. Woo! Well, I always say be careful what you set forth in the universe, because the universe definitely is going to answer your call, and we're powerful manifestors whether we realize it or not. And the things that we manifest come to fruition, and it just may not be the way that we wanted it to come to fruition. So, here's the deal. I just want to kind of look back on the goal setting, and it's to, we talked about carrying a schedule and recording your thoughts and your conversations, and, using your alarm on your phone, or, using an alarm at your desk that would kind of prompt you to move on to the next task and really just give you like an allotted amount of time to work on things in. It was really looking at how we could be or find tangible things to really make those goal setting efforts much stronger. So, I scheduled time for myself this past week. I wrote in my journal. I used my phone, and I still found it to be a challenge. I won't lie. I think that I definitely found some success with it, but it definitely was it's discipline. And I think next week we'll move on to discipline. This week I just want to talk about some other things that came up as a result of the self-sabotage or intercepting it from the best years of your life, which is the series that I highly recommend anybody get, Debbie Ford. So let's just I just want to kind of share with you, as this is kind of like a video journal at the same time, some of the things that came up. So self-sabotage. Again, that whole lingering thought that I'd been having a couple weeks ago about not good enough, and am I doing the right thing, and oh my gosh, I need to make decisions that are going to impact me, and I need to be in control of everything, and I'm losing control. Yeah, it kind of tripped me up this week. I found myself writing in my journal and asking the universe to please deliver me from the insanity. I felt like I was going insane at some points this week. And then I had to really be honest yesterday with my partner, and I really found that my ego is bruised. My ego is bruised, and for that reason, the self-sabotage of all those thoughts of I'm not good enough, and am I bringing enough to the table, and I haven't delivered what I was supposed to, which are all, it's retarded. It's just retarded to even think that way, because it's defeating, and it becomes a defeatist mentality. And I think at the end of the day, we owe ourselves more. We really do. And so, in looking at the self-sabotage this week, I saw what came up, and I saw the limiting beliefs of, my ego was bruised, and that I wasn't good enough, and, that I needed to be in control and I was losing control of things. And I really looked at is that true? Is it kind? And is it just? And then talking about to me, because that's where it starts. And, one, I wasn't being kind to myself, because I was putting a level of stress on myself that wasn't necessary. And two, it wasn't just, because when I really look at all that I've done, I'm crazy to think that I'm not good enough. And, the whole idea of, is it loving? It wasn't loving. I wasn't loving myself. I was in a spiral of stress and worry, and just, it's a pretty crazy week. I'm really grateful I actually get to share it, and that, I'm hoping that you guys are finding your own, diamonds in the rough, your own wisdom, and, your own things out of this experience, because it's really about just kind of exploring our lives and really looking at what comes up and how we can, you know, make a shift. Because once we can make a shift, then we need to, look at the momentum of that and the action associated with that. So, just kind of in the recap, obviously it was the goal setting, and I think some of those things worked, and I think really what I identify is discipline. So I encourage you to, keep playing with the goals this week, and really keep playing with the setting time for yourself, your time management, and spending time with yourself, and, really uh, doing the whole technique of like 5 minutes before you make your calls, really setting out the intention of what it is that you want that call to bring. I actually found some great success with that this week. I woke up this morning to a couple of emails that I sent out, that I set out an intention before I sent the email last night, and I woke up at like 6 o'clock this morning to get ready and do her. And wow, to my surprise, I was getting responses, and I was like all week beating my head against a wall, and I got responses. So I was like, this really works. And it's just about me having to apply it and apply it and apply it and keep doing it, and, telling myself, it's okay, just, little baby steps, because if we don't use the baby steps, then how are we going to grow? And I actually was watching on YouTube last night before I went to bed. There's this author called Lucas who wrote this book that's kind of 13 Habits of a Billionaire. And it's actually for kids, and it's about teaching kids financial. It's like giving kids a financial blueprint when they're in grade school. And, the whole idea is it's this Australian author who talks about the fact that, we aren't taught about financial stability and financial, or we're not taught any kind of financial courses when we are young and in school going from like, our grade years, like grade 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 type thing, into high school. And they really, it's a book that's inspired by Warren Buffett. And I was just listening to some of the things that these kids had to say at like 10 years old, starting their own businesses instead of like just getting money from doing chores, and and talking about the principles of integrity and discipline. And these kids are like successful in Australia. And I just thought to myself, what an amazing idea to give kids the idea of financial stability, and what finance means at a young age. It really helps foster something like that can give somebody the tools to be successful in life. And I think I'm going to get the book. I'll find out the name of it, and I'll share it next week. I just, I remember it just kind of came to my consciousness right now as we're talking. But moving on. So we, work on the goals. I think the goals are a huge, huge, huge key to success. And the limiting beliefs of self-sabotage are: ask yourself, is it kind, is it just, and is it loving? And if you can't answer those things honestly, you need to sit down and really spend some time with yourself. So let's just kind of move on to this week. And this week, part 5 in Phenomenal-ness is perfectionism. I wanted to kind of talk about that because having sky high expectations can cause so much pressure that you don't even start you don't even start the project for fearing that you're falling short. And that's kind of interesting because, it's the whole, back to a couple weeks ago, we talked about shoulda, woulda, coulda. So, again, let me just kind of read that. Having sky high expectations can cause so much pressure that you don't even start the project for fear of failing or for falling short. One way to prevent perfectionism from the get-go is to choose the level of effort you're going to put into something. And who actually puts that pressure on you to be perfect is the question. So, look at in your life where perfectionism has stopped you from actually starting a project because you're fearing that you're gonna fail. And know that everything requires hours of time. To figure out your effort level, first define your objective. Sometimes our objectives have to just be to get the job done. And I mean, it's simple as that sometimes, right? It's just about getting the job done. Like, what do I need to do to get the job done? I don't need to overthink it. I don't need to glamorize it. I don't need to make it all these, like, intangible things, the thing I was talking about last week, intangible, and I think, things always kind of like connect together. Um, and then the other thing I wanted to kind of look at this week, so it's, perfectionism and, how much pressure we put on ourselves to be perfect. And, society has all these things about like, the roles, we play in society, and when it comes to like being perfect, and the better, the more perfect you are, the better off you're going to be. And, but what does that price come with? And then, the flip side of like the perfection and, being, um, and the fear of failing is looking at fear. And, I think with fear, you know, I know that I hesitate, and I'm sure many of us hesitate to take on projects or follow our dreams because we're afraid of negative consequences. Um, and what if we make a mistake? What if we fail? What if we, you know, I even get tense when I talk about that. It's like, what happens if we fail? Like, is it okay? What happens if we fall flat on our face? Are we going to be okay? Well, tackle your fears head on by slowing down. So instead of speeding up, we need to slow down. And that's something that, that's a huge thing for me, because I just want to like barrel through everything and be the bulldog in life, and it just doesn't work that way. So it's slowing down, practicing what it takes to make, practicing what it is that makes you. It's not practicing; it's participating in the things that make you scared, and challenging our fearful thoughts. If you say you aren't good enough on the phone, for this is for example, then you're not going to be good enough. And you say, if you look in the mirror and you're like, oh, I'm having a hard time, then you are going to have a hard time. And if you say, oh, I don't want, you aren't going to have. It's like, that whole kind of law of attraction thing. And I think that it's really important to look at where the negative comes in our lives, and what like kind of limits our our success. I'm trying to find the words. What limits our success? And the success of being the CEO of I am, which is you. You're the CEO of you, and I'm the CEO of me. And you know, um, it takes gumption and courage to follow your dreams, and to see things through. So what if you fail, and what if you make a mistake? What does it mean? And what happens? What are the negative consequences? Are they really that bad? So, this week I just really wanted to kind of look at the whole idea of perfectionism, and you don't have to be perfect. We're never perfect. Perfect is who I am as an individual every day with all of my flaws. So it's not that we're never perfect, because we are perfect. It's just that our idea of perfect is all of the things that we come with, as opposed to just the good. And looking at the fear is is a really important key to unlocking deeper success in our lives. And the one other thing I wanted to kind of look at, usually I only look at two things, but this week the one other thing I kind of wanted to look at was like setbacks. Setbacks can easily stall our endeavors, or worse, shut them down. Try to anticipate and plan for potential setbacks. Be flexible. If you experience setbacks, adjust your plan. That's all. Just adjust your plan. Because guess what? You're allowed to. So, last but not least, this week I want to kind of just grab another card and see what our activity this week is, along with, the whole idea of the perfectionism and the fear and the setbacks. And perfectionism, you're perfect the way you are. So don't put pressure on yourself. Fear, it's okay to fail, because failure is only an opportunity for further growth. And 3, setbacks. They can easily stall our endeavors, so just be prepared to adjust your plan. It's kind of like taking the ebb and flow of life and saying, okay, this is what you're giving me to roll with, and I'm going to roll with it. So as we're rolling into the best years of our life, which is Debbie Ford, on our road to success, I'm going to pull a card, and what comes up for us this week? Sing your praises. And I like want to like cry when I hear that, because it's like every week it's something different, right? One week it's having fun, another week it's looking at the dark spots and our, or the dark shadows, and last week it was about intercepting the self-sabotage, which, you know, really like made all the sabotage in my life come up. And this week, so I'm just going to read it to you while I make sure that my makeup doesn't run. um, when we have a great deal of self love, we're able to acknowledge our strengths, talents, and God given gifts. We will feel comfortable sharing our gifts with others. Contrary to what many of us are taught, acknowledging our greatness doesn't diminish those around us. In fact, when we allow ourselves to shine, we give others permission to do the same. Self love means loving ourselves enough to allow all of the magnificent, and you know who that is, all of you, to be seen. Your self love assignment this week is to acknowledge all the things about yourself and share them with the people in your life. This is the week to claim your greatness and sing your praise. So, your actual task, along with looking at fear and perfectionism and setbacks, is to make a list of everything that you do well. What unique skills and talents do you possess? Do you have a nice singing voice? Check. Good handwriting? Check. Are you a talented artist or writer? Definitely an artist. And do you have an eye for fashion? That I believe I do. For a refined sense of style. Okay, so look at your positive characteristics. Are you a loyal friend? Are you a good listener? Do you know how to motivate others or make them laugh? This week, share at least with three people whom you don't normally confide in all the things that you do well, and notice how how the sharing of your gifts light you up and those around you. So go out and sing your praises, because guess what? You are the CEO of I Am, and we are on the road to success. So I will talk to you ladies next week. Let's just close up the whole experience, and I'm sorry that I had to tape it early and send it out on Facebook. I have an early morning meeting on my road to success, and got some decisions to make today about life, and I thought that it was good to kind of just get up and record it, and at least you can log on. So may the blessings be. And Father, Mother Earth, creator of all that is, let's just open our hearts and place place our thoughts and our attention on our Tizratil, or our third eye, and let's just take a deep breath in, and let's just bring in all of that energy and all of the love that's flowing and the currents that we feel around us as a result of this experience, and let's just think of the people that we love and the things that we love. And release that, and go out and sing your praises, and have a great week, and I love you all. So this week in Phenomenal-ness is done for today. Peace out. Have a good time. I will talk to you all soon. If you have any thoughts, if you want to share while my Skype is ringing, feel free to do it on the Facebook page. Take care. Ciao for now.